Bonjour, Kinamagan Ireland Disnikas, and welcome to tonight's Social Studies Explorer. Today's episode, Public Issues, Day 1. Today's episode kicks off a three-part session that will include videos and independent work. The standards being addressed are relating around exploring a public issue and coming up with ways to inform people about it, evaluate different viewpoints, and consider how core democratic values relate to the issue. You would have seen some at the end of the Michigan Open book about sending water to the Southwest, and that's actually where this one will lead off as part of our discussion. Some key words include popular sovereignty, the power and authority of government comes from the people. Public issue, a problem that affects many, many people. Definitional issue, words related to a public issue that have different definitions or meanings. And factual issue, facts that are connected to the public issue. And your core democratic values are ideals and beliefs that people in America have in common and upon which our country is based. We have some examples of public issues to discuss, and they can come at different scopes. One example would be a community issue. And it's the hypothetical is several citizens of the town of Zeller are complaining about the large number of dogs some people in Zeller own. They say that dogs bark all the time. They also complain that many get loose and wander the streets. So the public issue question becomes, should the town of Zeller pass a law limiting the number of dogs a person can own? Community issues are smaller on scale. It might be something under consideration for Mount Pleasant or our tribal community, Isabella County, but not much larger. Now, sometimes an issue can be regional, where it might be an area of several counties, or it could be a statewide issue. One problem facing Michigan is our growing use of energy. It is important to develop new sources of renewable energy to supply our energy needs. Wind farms are a good source of clean, renewable energy. Winds are often the strongest off the shorelines of the Great Lakes. And the public issue question would be, should wind farms be built in the Great Lakes? And this is one where you could find a lot of strong opinions. If you drive out in the country, you almost assuredly will see some kinds of signs related to this. You drive to our south, you can see some examples of wind farms just south of Shepherd, moving towards Ithaca. And then sometimes an issue is a national issue. At times, areas of the United States, such as the Southwest region, lack water. This can cause serious problems for people living in these regions. And that public issue question, which was based on a real suggestion, is should water be diverted from the Great Lakes to dry places in other parts of the United States that need water? Definitional and factual issues. The problem, at times, area of the United States, such as the Southwest, lack water. And when we talk about the Southwest, we're talking about Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Nevada, areas that have a lot of desert regions. And the question becomes, should water be diverted from the Great Lakes to regions of the U.S. that need water? Literally, should we put a giant straw that stretches thousands of miles across the country to make sure they have water? So the definitional issue is, what is meant by the term diverted? Are we going to use pipes? Are we going to basically dig a canal or river that takes it there? The factual issue, how are the Great Lakes affected when water levels drop? And remember that in a way, this becomes an international issue because in addition to Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Um, places like Ontario and Quebec also have a say in what happens to Great Lakes water because we do share international borders there. And so the facts of the matter would be what would happen here, because you can't put a giant, if you put a giant straw in your pop and you start drinking, or your water, let's just say your water, it's going to get lower. So you would be trying to go, you'd be deciding that issue. Should wind farms be built on the Great Lakes? So this is the one we're going to look at here. And you're going to fill this out kind of as we go. What's the definition of should wind farms be built on the Great Lakes? Is there an area here that where a word needs to be described? And the factual issues, what fact is going to be in question? You are welcome to use a Google search, and you can pause the video to do that. And just make sure you return by unpausing your video. All right, the next step is to write down some important core democratic values about these wind farms. How does liberty and freedom apply? Justice, the common good, equality, and diversity. You're going to need to pause the video and complete that portion of the paper. Welcome back. So some important core democratic values. Liberty, the freedom to make choices, to believe what you want, to have your own ideas, and to choose your own friends. Justice, that no person or group should be favored. Common good, the good of the whole community, people working together. Equality, equal treatment. Respect for varieties and cultural backgrounds. All right, coming back. Should water be diverted from the Great Lakes to dry places? Describe a position on each side of this issue using a core democratic value. So use one of these to say yes, and one of these that would argue no. Go ahead and pause the video and fill that in. All right, welcome back. Let's look at some examples of what you wrote. Yes, in the U.S., we believe in promoting the common good and looking out for the welfare of everybody. People in one area need water, then it should be taken from another area so people can survive. Water is important for survival. Or no, the Great Lakes are one of the most important resources for people in the Great Lakes region. People there depend on lakes for water, transportation, energy, food, and many other things. It's not fair to them to take water away from their region. This is where we'll wrap up today's lesson. Tomorrow we'll highlight the next round of the activity. If you are in the physical classroom, you should turn this paper in. If you're at home, you can show it to me via Zoom. I will send you a message and ask you about whether you're ready. If you're doing this after class or before class or otherwise not in class, you could take a picture of it and send it to me via text or email. Or you can wait till the next time you're on Zoom and show it to me. Have a minute, Gijigad. Minwa, Bamapi.